Hi, so Nate Pickowicz here. Wanted to take a minute to share some testimony with you with regards to my relationship with Paul's letter to Titus. When I was 13, I walked away from the Lord after my parents' divorce, and I was apart from God for about 10 years. I came back to Him when I was about 23 years old, but didn't start really studying the Bible till I was a little bit older, into my late 20s. But anyway, so I was sitting at my desk one day, really struggling with how to get into the Bible. And I'd heard all kinds of methods and ideas about how you should do it, and I just didn't really know. And so I pulled this Bible off my shelf that was at my desk, and I was flipping through it, and I really wasn't finding anything. I turned to the front, and in the front section of this MacArthur Study Bible was a section on how to read the Bible. And I'm thinking, well, if anybody knows how to read the Bible, it's probably this guy. So I'm reading through, and he lays out this plan for how to read through the Bible. And he proposes a systematic study where you go through book by book of the New Testament. And what you do is you read it in every single day in one sitting, and every single day for 30 days. So the shorter books like First John, Titus, you would read the whole thing in one sitting, and you do that for 30 days. Longer books like John, you'd break it up into 3 pieces, and you'd do that over the course of 30 days, 30 days, 30 days. Anyway, so I was intrigued by this idea, and I said, boy, this has got to be something that might help me. So I started doing that, and I picked the smallest book of the Bible I knew, which was the book of Titus. And so I said, okay, 3 chapters, 46 verses, I can do this. So I started going through this systematic study, and I'm reading, and I'm praying through the passage. And then I discovered that this guy, John MacArthur, had all these sermons online. I think he preached 26 sermons in the book of Titus. So I went right through, and I listened to every single sermon. I was reading the Bible, reading commentaries, doing everything I could, looking up Crete online, all these different things I could to get into this book. Well, this single study propelled me into an appetite for the Word of God that like I've never known before, and I haven't stopped since, and it's been several years. Anyway, so I'm going back through, and a couple years later, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about this first study I ever did in the book of Titus, and I'm remembering it fondly, and I'm having nostalgia, and wow, that was so cool, and I'm so thankful to the Lord for doing that. And then I had this memory. Back when my parents had first divorced, I traveled with my father to California to visit some family. And while I was out there, he wanted us to go to a church in Sun Valley. And so I went, big, huge church. I remember just sitting in the way, way back and listening to this preacher prattle on for endless amounts of time. He just preached forever, I remember as a kid, and not really thinking too much of it. And later coming to realize that my father had taken me to John MacArthur's church, Grace Community Church in California. And so I was there in 1993. And when I was thinking back through, I was like, I wonder when those Titus sermons are preached. So I looked back onto the website, and sure enough, the week I was there, John MacArthur was preaching through Paul's letter to Titus. And so as a 13-year-old boy, I'm sitting there in California, totally bewildered, totally walking away from the Lord, listening to the very sermons that God would use to bring me back to Him 18 years later. And so when I realized that God had worked everything out according to His plan to reach me through that letter, through those sermons, in that way, using the John MacArthur Study Bible, I fell to my knees in tears and was just so grateful to God. And to this day, Titus is my favorite book of the Bible. I still read it fondly. It's what brought me into ministry. So praise be to God for how He uses His Word to reach us. God bless you. Have a good day.